Hey friends, welcome to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Dare, a serial entrepreneur who has already made all of the money mistakes, so you don't have to. Now I'm working on my money mindset, expanding my companies, and having open conversations with women around a subject that shouldn't be so taboo, money. My company, Woman Owned Wallet, and I are determined to help you foster a more positive relationship with your wallet and help you create a life that makes you say, wow. Hey, moneymakers. Welcome back to another episode of Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast. Yay, I have such an amazing guest. I can't even tell you. She's a fellow Aries, so you know that this conversation is about to be lit as fuck. It's gonna be amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining me on the podcast.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Amanda.
Sarah Kinder is here, the Kinder artist. And I actually went through that where like people say her business, Kinder artist, Kinder artist. And
yeah,
she accepts both. But the truth
is, I am Sarah Kinder. My last name is Kinder, and it is the Kinder artist. It can kind of go both ways, but it really is the Kinder artist.
Yeah.
But I accept both of them. I accept both names. So whatever you want.
If you want to be in the know.
If you want to be in the know.
It's Kinder.
It is Kinder.
So you went with Kinder versus Kinder. I mean, because of your business just being so bright and beautiful and kind, or was there a reason?
Kinda. So my business is an eco-friendly home decor business. And I always say that my pieces are kind to the environment, eco-friendly with a low environmental impact. All of my pieces are either recycled or easily recyclable. So I say I'm kind to the environment. So I am the Kinder artist. But it really is it's a play on my last name. Yeah. And it was either this or I was going to do Naughty by Nature, and that was already taken. So because I make macrame knots, Naughty by Nature. But this one won.
Yeah. I mean, it's you. It feels right. And I love the play on words too. Like, I love when people name their business something great. There's so many dumb names that I'm just like, oh, this is so good. I love it.
Yeah, it had so much potential. You just missed the mark.
Yeah, you were so close, guys. So close. But it's okay. We can get through it. Well, so Sarah and I met actually in her shop.
That's correct. Yeah.
And I was just walking in and I was admiring everything. And of course, she has pink walls as well in her store. And I love that, obviously.
Oh, obviously. Pink is the best color.
It is.
It is.
You know, I downplayed it for so long that it was my actual favorite color. I just wasn't comfortable being as feminine as I truly am because I was in this, business environment where just masculinity felt like the ruling.
Yeah, we can't let toxic masculinity keep us down.
We can't. And I did for myself.
I know. Dude, same. I did the same thing.
It's the worst.
It really is.
Let's not do it, you guys.
No.
Let's just not. So pink's the best color.
It really is.
And so I walked in and I saw all these beautiful things and I wanted everything. And I was just like, you know what? I need to talk to this girl because she is fucking cool. So I was like, hey, I'm Amanda. Like, I was all nervous.
Which is so funny because when I knew who you were, I'd been in your store and I'm just like, your woman-owned wallet? Like, so it's like, I felt like completely starstruck. You were like Angelina Jolie coming into my shop. God. And I was just like, oh my God, you like my stuff? What? So yeah, it was fangirling to the max.
Well, thank you. I don't ever get Angelina Jolie except for from you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I usually get Kelly Clarkson
or my gosh.
Like Amy Poehler, which are both amazing.
Yeah, they're both amazing.
I think Kelly Clarkson probably would actually play me in a movie if I was truly. We look similar.
I can see that.
I
can absolutely see that.
If Dolly Parton can't play me in a movie, then it's going to be Kelly.
Yeah.
I think that's
sure.
right. That's right. Accurate. So yeah, we were both just fangirling over each other, which is usually how most of my relationships begin.
Yeah.
And that's the best way for them to begin.
I mean, really it is. And I was so excited, and you gave me your card, or you gave me the Woman-Owned Wallet map. And I was, when you left, I was just like, did that just happen? she likes my stuff. It was just, and I think Vanessa was there also. One of my friends was there, and she was like, oh my gosh, she fangirled super hard also.
Aww.
Yeah, it was.
Y'all are the sweetest.
It was like a double take.
Sweetest women. And like now you both have products inside WOW.
Yes.
So you guys can shop their stuff there as well as directly from the Kinder artist. So I just thought it was so cool. And I think it's such a cool thing that we can support each other in this way. And I would
absolutely
love to start wholesaling into the Kinder artist too, because we're launching that now in October.
Ooh.
So we've got lots of stuff. So we can do some tradesies and figure it all out.
I didn't even know that. Let's do it. Let's go. Queens support queens.
Ooh,
let's go.
I love that. Actually, since you just said the word queen, it's really important because let me just go off on this little tangent because I'm just warning everybody because I know I go off on a million of them.
Let's go.
But something really cool that my friend, like kind of talking about additional revenue streams and stuff like that, which is also something we just love to discuss on this podcast. But my best friend, who's also named Amanda, she was on last season's podcast and it's called Tip Your Content Creators. And she's been like bugging me for forever to actually get a buy me a coffee option open, which one of the things I want to talk to you about is like all the different ways we can bring in cash for our employees too. But she told me to get on Buy Me a Coffee, which is like a way for people to basically tip you. But it's like if anybody is listening to this podcast and they're like, I want to see more of this, I want more of this content, you guys can now buy me a coffee and they're $5. I'm like, oh,
I love that.
Well, I literally go to coffee meetings all the time. And I was like, I actually would use this money to just have coffee meetings with other women. And at those meetings, it's kind of like what's happening on this podcast that we're talking about, but we have really intense, like vulnerable moments and happy moments. And it's a whole roller coaster at a coffee with me. And I want more of those in my life. But I don't know, when I go to so many, it's getting expensive. So I'm like, if anybody wants to support that, they can. But the reason I said the word queen was because if you wanted to sign up for like a $10, I think it is, monthly Patreon, basically on Buy Me a Coffee, but it's just called something else, you're going to get to be a coin queen with WOW. So it's a way for you to help me pay for all this very expensive podcast equipment that I had to invest in.
Which it's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
We love it.
Do you love my studio?
It's so cute.
It's so
I
pink
love it
and
so
fun.
much.
And we've got video now, so you guys can see it
and
too.
We have our money rug.
Yes, the money rug, the tufted one from a woman-owned business called Carter Rugs on TikTok. I'm obsessed with watching like tufted stuff. I mean, you're a fiber artist, so you get it.
Yeah, that's how I started. I started because I saw someone doing it on TikTok and I'm like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, I can do that too.
I can do that.
I want to like tuft rugs like all day long. I just love fiber art, which is probably why I'm so obsessed with everything that you do. And I am not somebody who saw macrame and was like, oh my God, I can totally do this, because my hands are like, I don't know, I have arthritis and carpal tunnel and bullshit. And I still love making things in my dresses, but the sewing machine does a lot of the work.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, it helps me, but 13 years in, you really got to know how to work that serger.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's too much. So anyways, Coin Queens, please join us on Buy Me a Coffee. That will be on our show notes. We would love to see you there because we would love to create more amazing content for you. And if you're interested in just providing like a $5 coffee so that we have more opportunity for me to meet up with other women and women-owned businesses, please do that as well. Both are in the show notes. Anyways, back to the story, back to Sarah being amazing, but I got to plug things and make sure we can keep this all going. But yeah, so we met, we loved each other. And I was just thinking a little bit more about like Logan Street Market. And I want Sarah to kind of tell you guys a little bit about Logan Street Market and how she got started with the Kinder artist, because I think it's a really interesting story. And if you're a maker and you're like, how can I have a storefront but not have it be quite as expensive as like a traditional storefront would be? How can I connect with other makers? How can I be in a space with other small businesses? Well, there's lots of opportunities for that, and that's where Sarah is located. So will you tell us a little bit more about the Logan Street Market, your space there, how you've just expanded your space there? I'm so excited. I cannot wait to hear all about that. And then just a little bit about you getting started with the Kinder artist as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's like 14 questions, but just
I know, right? I'm just like, oh God,
your
where do
whole
I
life
start?
Story. Let's start with like, how you started The Kinder Artist. Like, what were you doing right before?
Totally. So before I started The Kinder Artist, I was working for a jewelry company. It's called Stella and Dot. And after 8 years of being with them, I was offered a job at another company. And this was all during the pandemic. And I was just like, oh, it feels too good to be true, but I'm just going to take a leap of faith. So I go over to this other company, leave Stella and Dot after 8 years. And then 6 months after joining this company, I got laid off. But
6 months. Come on, you guys.
I know. But I could kind of feel it happening because my role was a social media community manager. So my job was to grow audiences, engage with audiences, and understand what the consumer wants in this like digital market. So
no wonder, because you're so good on social media. Y'all have to check her out. What's your Instagram?
It's the.kinder.artist.
I had to do woman-owned .wallet. So like, listen, those dots are perfect.
Oh, listen, those dots. Oh my gosh. They're lifesavers.
They are.
So yeah, I was working in social media for a living, and then I could see I'm not going to name the company because I am not a huge fan of it, and I'm not going to give them the recognition that
silence is golden.
Yeah, I'm not giving them recognition.
Aries don't give you a time of day if we're not about you.
Yeah, no.
We're like, nah, I don't have any energy for that.
No, I just don't have the energy for that. You're not a vibe. So not a vibe. So working in social media, I could see the numbers kind of plummeting. They went from like a 10 million person reach to 1,000 person reach within the course of 3 months. And I was like, okay, they are obviously pivoting their finances from social media to other digital audiences. And they were really big on infomercials. So they ended up just going back to like what worked for them. And I got laid off. But in the meantime, I started playing around with fiber art and doing macrame. I saw someone on TikTok doing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know those knots. I'm a product of the 90s. So my mom taught me how to do make macrame jewelry when I was like 12 years old. And I just carried that on. And now I'm 37 and I saw someone make this glorious piece on TikTok, this glorious like wall art piece. This lady was in Australia. And I was like, I might not be able to do that, but I can at least get started. Yeah.
Yeah. So, inspiration comes from everywhere.
It really does. And I was just like, okay, I think I can do this. And it's in the middle of the pandemic. Everyone's stressed out. We're just getting bad news after bad news. Nothing good is happening at all.
So much bad.
And I needed a form of meditation. I needed an outlet. So I started weaving macrame. So I started posting it online and people were saying like, oh, you should sell this. It looks so good. And I'm like, really? I'm kind of looks like garbage to me, but okay, whatever.
Aren't we always like our harshest critic?
I know, right? Like our own worst critic.
Like, this is my art, but it's not good.
I know. It's so funny. Like I had the guts to like post it online, but I'm also sitting there thinking like, this is trash. I'm trash. This is never going to work. Just like it was awful to me.
I've been there. I feel you.
But also as an artist, you can't always see what you're creating when you're creating your own
magic, you know?
So I just posted it to see like, what people thought, like genuinely what people thought. And I was just like, well, maybe I can actually do this, And then lo and behold, I get laid off and I'm just like, okay, I think I'm going to start a business. And it's so funny because a week prior to getting laid off, I told my husband, like, I can support us. You can quit your job. Let's move back home to Arizona. And, like, because that's where we met. That's where my family is. That's where I'm from. And then a week later, I was like, wait, don't quit your job. I'm going to lose my job. So I'm going to need your help.
Babe.
Sorry, babe.
Thanks for sticking it out for me.
So I just, I kind of like went in head first and decided, okay, I'm going to see, where this takes me. I opened up an Etsy account and started posting my product on my Etsy account. And then I just needed more than that. I needed to like engage with this like small business community in Louisville. And I had a friend who was just like, oh, let's like go check out this marketplace. I think you'll really like it. And in my mind, I was thinking like, how can I get out of this? I really don't want to go, you know? And so we go there and I was like, oh my God, I can sell my product here. And it was Logan Street Market.
Yeah.
And I got so excited. I was just like, it was mystifying. It was magical. It was such a cool place. They had like a bar, they have restaurants, there were vendors. They had like a food truck outside. There were dogs, in the little courtyard area. It was just so much fun.
It's such a vibe, you guys. You have to go to Logan Street.
Oh my God. It is so much fun. If you come to Louisville, go to Logan Street Market.
Do it.
It is an absolute must. And I'm not saying that just because I own a shop there now. So I started popping up on the weekends. I brought all my product and would set up a table for like 4 hours a day, Saturday and Sunday. And every weekend, I was selling more and more, and people were asking about, different products. And then I sort of felt this community, like a snowball, just start to like gather this following of people who would come to see me pop up week after week. And I was like, oh my God, these are like actual followers, not just like followers on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Like these are people who are following me because they like my product and I can do something here. So it took like a week and a half of convincing, but I finally convinced my husband that like this would be a good idea for me to rent a physical location there and be a permanent vendor. And, he was just like, I'll give you 6 months. We'll do 6 months.
Yeah.
And if you can't turn a profit in that amount of time, then we have to
figure something else out. We're going to have
to figure something else out. You're going to have to get a job. And I was like, okay, I can do this. Can I do this? I can do this, I think.
I think so.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Well, if you have that much like power towards it and like intention towards it, and honestly, a timeline and a deadline is a big motivator.
It really helped. And I think aside from that, for me, it felt like I had no other option. This is what, it felt like this is what I am destined to do. I'm destined to own my own business, create a lifestyle that I want for myself and my family, and also create like a loving environment for my community, like a space that people can come and chill and hang out and feel like they're seen. Like, because I sell plants now. And
yes, tell us about the expansion.
Oh
so
my
you had
gosh.
one space that is it a 10 by 10?
Yeah, it's a 10 by 10 space. I started with one table and this rinky-dink bookshelf on the other side. And I just had I had like a couple baskets of like keychains and like little things. And oh man.
I guess were you also like making all day while you were there?
I was creating all day. Not a single hour went to waste when I was at the market. Like,
I think a lot of makers worry about that. Like, how will they manage the time of customers and making? Because you really are doing it all start to finish. So
yeah. And
I love that you were making during it, because I did that in the mall with like the new black too. I was like, I don't waste any time.
No time is wasted. I mean, if you think about it as a small business owner, you're the chief executive officer, chief financial officer, you're the operations manager, you are marketing, you're tech, you're all of these things. You are constantly on and constantly working. And even if you have a moment for yourself where you're not, you're still like, your brain is still going. You're like, what is the next move? What is the next thing I'm going to do? And I remember I would sit there and try to draw out inspiration from crystals or people or my surroundings, or I would go outside and look at the trees. And I thought like, okay, I'm drawing inspiration, but I'm also wasting time. I need to be working, and it just.
But you didn't like accept that the inspiration time and the collecting all of that was part of the process.
Yeah. It took me a while. It took me a while to really
accept almost.
Yeah. Accept that I needed to take a step back and find things that would draw inspiration and understand that being inspired is a part of this creative process. And it's a part of being who I am in this like small business community.
Absolutely.
And it's it really is like the essence of my business.
It's what's drawing your customers to you is your creativity.
Yeah.
And how you present it to the world.
Yeah. And that's, I think that's a special thing as a small business owner, when you can create a world that people love and then look back and say like, oh, wait, this is me.
Yeah.
And people love this thing that I've done and that I've created. and there's a part of you in it. And it's exciting to see, but you can't unless you really take a step back and smell the roses, I guess, so to speak. So
but smell the houseplants.
I know, smell the houseplants. So I recently expanded into a 2-unit space. So it's now 10 by 20. 10 by 20, yeah. And it's just separated by a wall, but I just painted it like a new upgraded pink. And because, we love pink.
We do.
We love pink. It's the best color. I've been mulling over going into a second space. And I always thought like, well, if I'm going to go into a second space at Logan Street, then I'm just going to get a standalone
right.
like storefront. And then.
Yeah, because I think that's, maybe half of what I have.
Yeah. Well, and I think.
Well, mine's only 400 square feet. It's not very big.
No, it's just, I feel like walking in here, it feels larger than life. Like walking into Woman-Owned Wallet, it just feels.
I feel the same way about yours.
It feels so big. And then, like sometimes I'll look around, I'm like, it's actually like,
it's one room.
It's one room, you know, but it does.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe and it feels so big and it's so inviting and welcoming.
Well, thank you. The kinder artist is as well.
Thank you.
I know. I was like, if I ever open like a home decor store, like I'm partnering with Sarah.
Oh,
I told you that like a year ago.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I know. I remember you talking about going into like the home decor category and, like you haven't really ever done that and you're excited, but also scared. And it's just like, and I'm like, oh my God, but you want to do this with me?
I was like, she gets it. And like one of the first conversations we had, we were already like talking numbers and just merchandising and everything. And like, that was my speak. That's my like dirty talk right there. I'm oh, Sarah, keep talking to me. I love this stuff.
It felt like
it was immediate.
It was really just like the beginnings of this conversation on the podcast. Like it was such a vibe. We clicked so quick. Yeah.
It's the best.
It is.
Well, congratulations on your expansion.
Thank you.
You guys, she's been doing this in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
This is brand new information. So if you have been to the Kinder Artist before, girl, go again because it's expanded.
And actually not even the last couple of weeks, just in the past week.
In the
past week.
Oh
and
goodness.
I am still like in shock that I did this.
Yeah. Like why was it such a hard decision? Because it was the external individual storefront or more in Logan Street. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So it was, I felt like if I was going to expand that I should expand elsewhere. But something that's really special and unique about Logan Street or Logan Street Market is that they do a lot of marketing to like touristy spots and other like local outreach programs to get people into the market. So I felt that I would be a fool to leave right now. While I'm still a very small, very growing business, I still need to leverage the foot traffic of the market.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
Leverage that as long as you can, because even being like, so I've had a store in Melwood Arts Center. I've had 3 stores there.
Big deal.
No big deal. I mean, I had them all at the same time because they wouldn't let me get out of my leases. So whatever.
Oh my gosh.
It was 13 years ago. And so I had one in the courtyard. That was like my recent one. I had one on Bardstown Road. I had one on Frankfurt Avenue. I've been in the mall for all of these for years. And then I've been in Nulu, and Nulu has the most revolving tourism that's happening for like downtown, like movement, basically like downtown tourism. People come here and there's only a few shops. So a lot of what I love about being down here is there's always that revolving door, and Nulu as a business association and as an area, just like what you're saying, provides a lot of additional marketing that helps my business. So I would never want to leave that and not leverage that to help myself. Now, do I also add quite a bit to that? Yeah.
No, yeah, you do, girl.
The Women-Owned Walking Tour is in 70 locations around Louisville, and I'm so pumped. Actually, I don't know if you've seen the new one. I should show it to you.
I was looking at that. I was like,
here's
those
one,
are not the
fancy.
new. Oh my God.
And then even our TikTok, we noticed that we have
so exciting.
Thank you, darling.
Love it.
There's now 40 women-owned businesses that you can check out, and the reasons why to check them out on the back. There you go.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Oh
Isn't
my
that
God.
fun?
Look at these stats. This is insane.
Yeah, read the top one.
1.9 trillion. Oh my God. The total amount of money generated in 2020 by the 12.3 million woman-owned businesses in the United States
Isn't that so cool?
This is incredible.
It's just such a cool way to look at it, and like what we can do as women when we have money and what we can change. Like even the amount of employees, it's like 9.3 or something million employees are employed by women-owned businesses.
That's amazing.
You and I are two of those.
Yeah.
You also have your first employee.
I do. Yeah.
When did you hire her?
I hired her in June. So her name is Vanessa, and she also has her product inside a woman-owned wallet.
We talked about her earlier. We love you, Vanessa.
We love you, Vanessa. I met her through the small business circuit. I met her at Logan Street, actually. Before I even started my business, I was thinking about popping up there. I saw that, she just sort of popped up on my Instagram account, and I was just like, oh my God, I love her stuff. It's so cute. And then I went to Logan Street to buy from her. Which if you find someone, and I'm just going to do a small business plug here. If you find someone who, on social media whose work you think is just exceptional and beautiful, and they're popping up somewhere, or they're doing a market somewhere, go see them.
Please.
There is nothing more exciting than hearing someone say, yeah, I found you, you popped up on my social account, or you popped up on my Instagram or my Facebook.
Yeah.
I thought your stuff was amazing, and here I am to purchase from you. Oh my God.
It's so validating.
I have goosebumps just thinking about the conversations.
I can see her goosebumps, y'all.
I know.
Serious.
Like I literally have goosebumps just thinking, because that's happened to me.
Yeah, it feels so good.
And it is such a good feeling. And as a small business owner, I mean, you and I have talked about this before, my imposter syndrome. I always feel like my work is inadequate to be in other stores or what have you. And then when people come to me, because they found me randomly, mind you, randomly found me and drove across state lines or drove, just took the time out of their day to come to me to buy my stuff, my work, my artwork. It's so validating.
Like my heart is so warm hearing you say all of that. I'm like, it's the best feeling,
it is
you guys.
The absolute best feeling. So
it's so good.
And that's how I met Vanessa.
That's how you met Vanessa.
That's how I met Vanessa. I just thought her work was exceptional. I took a day and I went to Logan Street where I knew she was going to be popping up, and bought a pair of earrings from her. And now she's my best friend.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And she's the cutest. Like she'll come into WOW and she like wanted to take some photos with her product, and her amazing husband and daughter were with her. And, she was just like, hey, Amanda, can you take some? Because I'm not sure what his are going to look like. I wanted to say that kindly and I couldn't figure it out how. So I wasn't trying to be rude. If you're listening, I'm sorry, boo. So, but not Vanessa, just her husband, But we got that Instagram husband vibes that we got to find out. And I was like, let me do this for you.
He's a good Instagram husband for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My husband's getting really good at it, by the way. I was like, just keep taking pictures. I know. You just 100.
It's so funny. My husband just now, like he got all dressed up to like come here today.
Oh, so sweet.
He's so cute. And then, and we get out of the car and we're already running late. And he's like, babe, can you take a picture of me real quick? And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Excuse me, I'm going to go be on the podcast. I'm just kidding. I love it.
It's the podcast. So it's not about you. No, but I took pictures of him. He was feeling himself. He's looking cute.
We love quality men.
Yeah.
Quality men are the best.
They really are. They're the absolute best. But
they are.
So yeah.
So you met her, you loved her, you vibed with her, you went and financially supported her, put money into her wallet, which is my favorite thing to do, is put money in another woman's wallet. So I love that. And I believe that's a really similar way to how I met her. I was like, I love to like financially support woman-owned businesses. And that's like my favorite thing to do every day. So if I'm going to go out and go to all these different events, you better believe I'm buying shit at your booth.
Period.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And especially hand-painted art. Like all of her accessories are hand-painted.
Every single
I love
piece.
Everything she posts. I was like, I think I'm your biggest fan.
Everything she posts, everything she makes is all hand primed, hand painted, hand sealed, handmade.
It takes her 4 days to make the earrings for the shop.
Yeah. It's
4 days.
She is, and
you can get that for like under $40. Are you kidding, y'all? Like, what a beautiful,
one of a kind earrings. They're just so beautiful. And I carry them in my shop also.
So we should probably say her business name. I am Evergreen.
I am the Evergreen.
The Evergreen.
I am the
Thank
Evergreen.
You, darling. I am the Evergreen. Please look her up.
Yes, go look her up. So
you hired her.
I hired her back in June, and she works part-time. And when I got to the point where I thought I need to hire someone, I need time away from my shop to clear my head and work on my business, work on like the business side, you know, like the taxes and the finances.
On it, not in it.
Yeah. It got to a point where I was just like, I need to step away from the shop. I need to relinquish some of that control to someone I can trust, someone who knows the small business community. And the first person who came to my mind was her. And I offered it to her, and she took it in like a heartbeat. And I was just like, oh my God, thank you so much.
I'm so happy.
She has been just like my saving grace.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how beneficial it was going to be to have someone working for me so that I can work for me.
Yeah.
So, it's like such a weird thing.
No, you're so right. You're so right.
But it was so beneficial. But then also it kind of hit me. I was like, oh my God, I'm an employer.
Yeah.
I am putting money into the economy, into a woman's wallet, into her family. And
preach,
it just,
preach.
Right. And it just, I just felt so happy.
Yeah.
And she would say like, thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited. Like you trust me with your shop. And I'm like, girl, I don't trust anyone else. Like, it was you or you, So,
I know. And it's always that gut feeling. It's like, especially I would say as an Aries, like I trust my gut, which is crazy because I have IBS. So I'm just like, why do I trust this bitch? And I'm like, well, because she's super intuitive. She knows when something's right and when something's wrong. So like I brought on Adrienne like 3.5 years ago, and I just added her this year as a COO.
Wow.
So she has joined the C-suite.
Oh my God.
And she now has insurance, and she is a salaried employee, and like things are amazing. She and I are going to do a few episodes. So definitely check out
so exciting.
The Sweet Life of the C-Suite on the podcast, because that's with Adrienne.
I love that name. That's so cute.
Thank you. We're just going to eat sweets the whole time and really enjoy our lives.
Like,
just
like
the best.
Marie Antoinette.
I know. Let them eat cake. I mean, I am blonde now, so I guess I could be like her. Did you ever watch that movie with
Kirsten Dunst?
Kirsten Dunst.
Absolutely. Yes.
I love that movie growing up.
It's so good.
It's kind of like Bridgerton before Bridgerton a little bit.
I have not seen Bridgerton.
Girl.
Oh, I'm going to get canceled so quick for this. I know. I think I have a tendency to hyperfixate on things.
Yeah.
So I know that if I watch it, it will become my entire identity. And I'm just not ready for that.
I'm in the middle of rewatching all of the previous seasons of The Handmaid's Tale because it's airing right now.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? I feel like that would be your whole personality too.
No, I have not seen it, but
it's intense.
And that is one of the reasons why I'm not ready for it, because like,
you should do them at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Because then it'll be like balance.
Well,
if you've seen them both, you know exactly what I'm saying. Like really intense drama and then really fun.
And really fun and light.
Yeah. Oh my God. They're both so fun.
I at least know about the shows.
Yeah.
And I think, watching House of Dragon, I'm just I'm like, oh my God, I'm either going to go back and watch all of Game of Thrones, or I'm going to start a new series. And I'm just like, I can't go watch Game of Thrones again. It was so much.
It's so much.
It's so heavy. So I need a different show. So maybe those will be on my list.
I think just even, stepping into more of like being comfortable in my feminine energy. Bridgerton was great for that because it's really strong women and strong female characters, of course, but there's still like so much beauty to the world.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, people are really down about gossip, but gossip is like how women understand the world and like how we communicate about the world. And like literally gossip has saved women's lives so many times.
Absolutely.
So like to have gossip be like the central theme of Bridgerton too, like is a very feminine, way of communication. So I just really like that too.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go watch it.
Okay. But don't watch it. Give yourself time because I hyperfixate as well. So I totally understand what you're saying and I respect your mental health. It'll add to your mental health. Like it'll be a good mood booster. So when you need a mood boost, check out Bridgerton.
Absolutely.
So I was like, You were like worried about tangents. I was like, girl, that's my whole life.
I know, right? I'm just like,
Tangents.
I'm like, you know what? This is
still
on topic. Who cares? Like, whatever. Like, we got this.
We were talking about mental health for entrepreneurs and working for yourself and how it's so important to be able to step away from the physical being in the shop of your own, boutique, and like stepping out of that to work on your business. And Bridgerton and Handmaid's Tale are a part of that.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. And House of Dragon, like you said.
Oh, yeah. House of Dragon is absolutely part of
pop culture is a part of
it's how we stay
maintaining.
Relevant.
Yeah.
It's how we stay relevant.
I like have to do that for my store because we have a lot of very, like trendy phrases and sayings and stuff. And I feel like I'm 33 and I'm like, am I in the know? Do I have my finger on the pulse? Like, I'm not sure, but everybody's going to have different reference points. It's all good.
It's so funny because like I just had this conversation yesterday with my bestie in Arizona, and she made this comment and I was just like, I don't know what that means, but it's hilarious to me. And I just thought like, oh, that must be what like, like having your finger on the pulse like is like you just know without knowing. You know what's funny, what's relevant without like knowing.
It's like all TikTok sounds at this point basically, in my brain.
Yeah, it's corn. Like, corn. Oh my God.
It's corn.
If I hear that one more time, I am just like,
I'm shocked we haven't done something with that. Actually, no, wait, we did. Just
did you?
Kidding. I forgot.
Oh my gosh. No, I haven't. I have avoided doing the corn.
You've got to do like the kind of smaller but still relevant sounds more than the ones that truly just blow up everywhere, because then everybody's doing that one.
Yeah.
And you want to stand out more.
Yeah. I have a tendency, like if you look at my account, you can see that like, the things that I post, they're, I don't want to say like more thoughtful, but I try not to do like the ultra viral sound bites.
Yeah,
like,
it's got to be on brand.
Yeah, yeah. I did one that was it wasn't Lizzo, but it was just like just making jewelry, and it's just like.
Oh yeah,
and I was just like, dude, this is so relevant for me. Like, I cannot get this song out of my head. But no, I try to stay away from the super ultra viral sound bites because it's just too much. It's just too much for me.
Well, and I get frustrated when people are like, well, I posted the viral sound and I didn't go viral. And I'm like, okay, but what else are you doing as part of your, like, I tell people all the time, if you think of your business and you coming from a, social media and marketing background, if you think of your business only as the four walls of your business, or only as the people that walk in, or only as the products that you sell, or I don't mentally think of myself as owning a gift shop. I own a marketing company.
Yeah.
I speak about women-owned businesses. We obviously are on this podcast talking about it. We made the tour of all the other women-owned businesses. We have media services. We have 50 women in the business, like that sell through the vendors as vendors in the business. And it's one of those things where I'm helping basically these makers communicate to an audience and bring in this very exciting vibe. And so people are like, how do you sell this all the time? I'm like, I sell energy.
Yeah.
Like I sell a vibe.
It's
I don't sell individual things.
Yeah.
I sell the entirety of my brain at once.
It is literally
that's what my brain looks like.
It's a lifestyle brand. It's not, and it's not even, it's not just a brand, but it's just a way of life, like, putting money into women's wallets, you have this walking tour. Like at first I thought that this was just, wow. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, some people think it's only that.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, there's a store too. Oh, there's a podcast too. There's a soundtrack too. There's media too. I'm like, yeah, we got all these things.
So much. There's so many avenues for this business. And it's just more than a business. And I think that's where small business owners sort of get sidetracked with their business, because they get so hyper focused on marketing and branding and what it is and what it isn't, and they have to niche down and it just
all the advice
and all of these buzzwords.
I'm kind of over buzzwords.
If I hear someone telling me like, oh, I have a good niche, or you need to niche down, I'm just gonna die. Like I hate when people say that, because even though I know that I have a niche market,
like
I know I have a niche market.
But we're not fixated on it.
That is the one thing I'm not going to fixate on, because I sell home decor, I sell jewelry, I sell plants. I sell stickers. I sell a whole range of things all under this boho kind of lifestyle, like, but it's also like Southwest, and it's just me.
You have so much because exactly. I was going to say you have your roots in Arizona, like you have your own aesthetic. It's really just you selling
it's selling the things that
creativity.
I love. Yeah. Like my creativity, my artistry, and
your
the things
energy
that I love, my vibe.
And if people are, going to a 9-to-5, because sometimes I forget that not everybody lives like this. They're like, oh, they want that. They want the energy. They want the vibe. They want to come home to that space. And you're giving them the opportunity to basically see the entire collection of all the things that they should have in their space at one time in order to get that vibe.
Well, and I have like around my shop, I have like little pockets of displays, like how you can set up like my...
Oh, speak merchandising to me. I love it.
Ooh. Set up
I have a woven basket.
I have a woven basket with a plant in it. It's amazing. So no, I have these like little display setups where you can see how the pieces can work in your home.
Yes.
And I will have people come in and buy the entire display. And I'm like, this whole thing? They're like, yep, the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Thank you so
much. It worked. But then I have to like come up with a new display.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I want. I want people to be able to envision my pieces in their home.
They have to be able to visualize it.
Exactly.
Because that's what they're paying for is your vision.
And the only way for them to do that, because not everyone has the eye that I have or the eye like of an artist.
Yeah.
So the only way for them to see that is to physically see it and then like literally like copy and paste it into the idea of their home.
Right.
And that's how a lot of people's brains work, when it comes to home design. My husband's an engineer, and that's the only way he's able to,
they need to see it.
Like, envision something in our home. I do all the designing. So, but yeah, like, I mean, like you said, it's a lifestyle. It's more than just a business. And I think that's how a successful business grows.
I agree.
Is by, kind of getting away from those buzzwords and getting away from niching down and trying to stick with a certain product category. Because I mean, look at you. You have you have
many.
Clothing and accessories and home decor.
I do have home decor. Your home decor.
My home decor. You have all sorts of stuff in your shop, but it's all under this like feminist.
It's like fun feminism is the way we think of it.
Feminism.
Funny feminism, truly. Like to me, I'm selling. So I really truly identify like as a comedian. Like my heart is.
I love that.
Do you see it? Like, does that make sense to you? How much have you laughed with me? Like a lot. So my heart is like saying, I want to be feminine and I want to be funny and I want to show my feminist, the equality that we can all have. And I package it all in this way. And if you view my content, if you view almost everything I post is a joke. Almost everything, which attracts a lot of people to us.
Your reels are so funny.
Thank you.
I love them. I love seeing what you post.
Thank you. Well, and even some of our like static posts, like they're all like funny things.
Oh my God. And your stickers. Oh my gosh. And you have a pair of earrings that are like this little, it's a ghost with boobs. Yes. It's boobies. I died when I saw that, but I understood it immediately. And I showed it to my husband and he's just
We've already had to reorder this.
Oh yeah. He was just like, oh, I get it. It's funny. I'm like,
boobies.
We love it.
Yeah. Like we sell everything from self-defense items.
Yes.
We're also sold out of our Knockout brand, which I will have very soon, probably by the time this comes out, of pepper spray, of kitty cat defense claws, that you kind of hold in between your knuckles. And we also have vibrators and look how few we have left.
Let's go.
We had so many when we started that, and like hats that said orgasms and stuff. And I was like, well, when I figured out that the gap between female pleasure and female orgasms was wider than the gap for wealth, I knew I had to add that to the shop, and people responded so positively.
Absolutely.
If we can also give women a space to interact with pleasure and with us as self-care, which it is,
and interact
with it in a way that's not skeezy or scummy or whatever. Like, what's the word?
I don't know. There's
sleazy.
There's nothing sleazy about understanding your own body. Like,
not at all. But to have a woman standing there and communicating to you about it and how many different modes your little emoji baiter is going to have versus like, I don't know, just some weird guy at a place that's like, it's not set up for women to interact with. So like even just woman-owned like wellness stuff would be, and it's an entire category for us. Like we have tampons, we have pads, we have liners.
Do you still have tampons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all biodegradable. They biodegrade in I want to say it's less than a year versus like hundreds of years. Which
the polyester, plastic.
You know me, I do love sustainability with my sustainable ethical fashion business too. But it's just like the wellness products that we are offering, like I maybe wouldn't have offered those at first. I would have been a little too nervous. And I was kind of nervous to introduce them. I just didn't know how everybody would truly react. And the response is overwhelming, how much this fits the brand and how deep people like needed to have, like they all sold out and I've had to reorder them all multiple times. So it's like, we know that that's working for us and we need to dive deeper into that route.
Oh, absolutely. And there's even a plant shop in town that sells vibrators. And I was just like, wait, what?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was so surprised. And I was just like, this is awesome. Plants and vibrators. Let's go. Like,
it's all self-care, like we said.
It's all self-care.
Yeah. And we have a muff mask, which is to nurture the lips below your hips. So it's like a face mask, but for, your private areas. And like, it's just so good. Like I sat there one day with a face mask and the muff mask on, and I was like, I need to take care of all of my skin, not just my face.
Not just your face.
Not just my face.
You have skin all over your body.
You have skin everywhere, y'all.
Yeah.
It's the biggest organ. But so we have stuff like that. And, our 10,000th order came through recently. And it was
congratulations.
Thank you. We're over 11,000 now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but we did have
no big deal. That's awesome.
Thank you. So sweet. And we should talk about this too, because you and I both recently have like our best sales days.
Yes.
But it was a emoji baiter that was it was a banana that's like, go bananas, go fuck yourself, literally. Like, it's so great. And I had to I was telling my family, I was like, oh yeah, we have, a new product, because once we started selling pepper spray, it kind of looked like a pocket rocket. So people were like, it said max strength on it. So like people are like, oh, is this a vibrator? And then we were like, oh no, it's not. It's pepper spray. So please don't mess that up.
Yeah.
But we made sure everybody knew. But it did allow the space for people to like continuously tell us that they were interested. And then I was like telling my dad, who like grew up as like the oldest of 5 boys and was like, Catholic school, and it's just more formal. And I was like, I mean, my mom is not like that at all. So like, it's a good mix. And we have such a beautiful relationship. But I was like, yeah, Dad, my 10,000th order came through and it was the vibrator. And I had to like tell him.
Gosh.
And there wasn't much of a response, but he was like, that's cool. And then like moved on.
I feel like my dad would have the exact same response. He'd be like
he knows.
Way to go, baby girl.
Yeah. He knows that like my first product said, don't be a dick. And my mom was making a joke about like, one day everything in here is going to have a swear word on it. And I was like, it might, Mom, because guess what? I can't keep those in stock and it pays the rent. So we got to do what we got to do. If you've listened to the podcast before, you probably heard me mention how I recently was able to start providing health insurance to my long-term love of an employee, Adrian, my COO. This was a first for me, and I couldn't have done it without the help of Gusto. Thank you so much, Gusto. This is an easy-to-use human resources platform that makes growing your business a breeze. No matter the size or stage of your business, Gusto puts the tools you need to hire, pay, and manage your team all at your fingertips. Whether you're hiring your first employee or looking to raise productivity amongst your team, Gusto has a plan for your small business. Head on over to our show notes for our affiliate link to unlock your team's potential today. Let me know if you use our link, because I'll happily, personally walk you through starting on Gusto and running your very first payroll. Because if you use our link, you get a $100 Visa gift card, and Gusto provides me a little kickback too, so I can help you for free. Let me know when you're ready to get started with Gusto. But yeah, so let's chat a little bit about I mean, the amazing like sales days and sales months.
Yes.
You said you had your best sales month.
Yes.
Even compared to holiday.
Even compared to the holidays.
So good. And this is before you expanded. So just imagine.
This was before I expanded. So it's so crazy because like I knew I was outgrowing the space that I was in. And now I'm just like, oh my God, like now I'm having a hard time filling up both spaces.
Right. It's hard to go from 1 to 2.
Yeah, it really is.
So hard.
But also I think it's my own like fear of success.
Yeah.
That's like kind of hindering me from filling it up the way I need to.
I got a great podcast episode for you.
Oh, I know. I was listening to it on the way here.
You're like, that's it, Melissa. And I discussed it. And it's so true.
It really is.
It's terrifying to like, now that I've had my best sales day, I'm like, okay. And it was like $3,000 more than my last best sales day.
Yeah.
Which was amazing because it's not like $1 over.
Yeah. No, that's incredible.
Like, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And we had 300 orders in one day. It was a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's how I went from 10 to 11.
Sorry, my jaw just dropped. I was just like,
I heard it. I was like,
oh my God. I know, right? Oh my gosh.
But every time I was like so it was at Nulu Fest. I discussed this on Deirdre's episode as well with Fly Girl Candles. But basically every time I had a booth at Nulu Fest before, I maybe made like close to $3,000, but I don't think I quite hit it. And we hit almost 9,000.
Wow.
This time. So it was an amazing day. All that money's been spent with women at this point.
Yeah.
It all had a plan. It all immediately went out the door for more amazing things, but it's hard. And I've invested so much. And I know that you are right now. And I want you to know that you're not alone, that I've spent I haven't spent $75,000, but I have $75,000 worth of inventory in preparation to make another $150,000 this year in Q4. That's my goal.
Gosh.
Girl, it's a big goal.
That is a big goal.
I'm scared of it.
Oh my gosh. But also, you can do it.
You can totally do it.
You can absolutely do it.
I actually feel very confident that I could do it because I already added 9,000 to that goal. And I'm like, okay, well, now it's only 140,000 or whatever. Who knows?
Oh my God. That's amazing though.
Thank you.
That is so exciting.
It was cool the day that we beat like last year's sales already. And it wasn't even like the time. And it's so the Q4 that brings in all the money for our gift shop.
Yeah. Q4. I mean, like, and I think that's what I compare everything to is Q4. Like, you know, anytime I have a good month, I'm just like, okay, well, I almost hit my numbers from Q4, almost hit my numbers from December, almost hit my numbers from November. And then I finally did.
In September, right?
In September.
What a weird month to like just randomly have that.
Oh my God. Well, actually, September 10th was the day that I started my business or started my business inside of Logan Street Market.
Yay.
In 2021.
No way.
And that was my best sales day ever.
I'm so excited for you,
And I
babe.
was just like, what?
Doesn't that feel so
good? My God, it felt so good. And I was like 1 year later. It took me a year to get here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also it only took me a year.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like glass half empty, glass half full kind of, you know, and then I thought like, okay, what's the next step? Like what's the next thing I have to do? And
expanding was it.
And I listened to that podcast about fear of success and, you know, you guys talked about it extensively and really like that is the one thing I think that holds me back.
Yeah, because you're not scared to fail. I'm not scared to fail.
I'm not scared to fail.
I'm so past that, and you are too.
Oh, I'm so past that.
How to get like your new goals.
Yeah.
And how to keep up with yourself. It's so hard.
Well, because, and you know, we talked about my goal for the end of the year, like what my sales goals were for the end of the year. And I'm actually towing that line now. So now I have to create new goals, right?
I'm so excited.
It's so exciting. And
this is the best combo ever. I love that.
Oh, so much has happened since the last time we spoke. It's so crazy. And like,
I should just have you on like once a month so I can be like, okay, tell me everything.
Oh my God, please do. Let's go. I am 1,000% down for this. I mean, we're basically neighbors. So I'm like a mile and a half up the road.
I know. It's so close, you guys. Come to Nulu and go to Logan Street.
Yeah. And if you come to Logan Street, you just grab a map and I'll send you to Nulu. I'll tell you exactly where it is. I feel like
you're the most often that I hear, oh, I was at Logan Street at Kinder Artists and she told me to come here. So, you know, I appreciate that. And I feel like I do the same, but I'm just like, I wonder if they say anything. I don't know. They probably don't.
I mean,
they're on the map. So
The other day,
they got a lot of places to look at in Nulu.
Oh yeah. And I tell them like, these are all like woman-owned businesses and start a woman-owned wallet. And then it's just a walking tour. And they, they're just like, oh, we're thinking that's exactly what we wanted. People get so excited. And I ran out of maps and you were
I have 100 for you today. Don't worry.
Thank God. Oh my God.
I have a whole new situation. That's why.
Yeah. So I heard that you were switching to the brochures and I think a digital
we have a digital one. And then we have like holders and stuff for them now. And we have additional stuff to make the experience better for the people handing out the maps like yourself.
Oh, awesome. Perfect. Because I always send people here. And I even went so far as to accidentally knowing your address by heart to send people here. So, and I just write it down on my business card and I hand it to them and they come down here. So I'm just like,
And this is part of the reason why you're having your biggest month too, though, because you're not just sitting there waiting for the sales to come through. You're actively out there like showing your customer and really promoting your own brand by being a resource. That's what we try to do. And like, we now look bigger and you look bigger than your space, than your few hundred square feet, than my few hundred square feet, because we're propelling and perpetuating the idea that it's important to shop with other women-owned businesses and it's important to shop with other small businesses. And people have to hear something like, that's why you never see us thinking of each other as competition, because people love this. They're going to spend money. They have so much money to spend. They're going to spend it in all these cool places. And if we can help each other grow, it helps each other grow, and then it helps us look bigger, and then our customer is happier, and our customer is happy that we had a great resource to send them to next.
Exactly. And it's so, it's so funny you say that, because I was so excited for Nulu Fest. I was so excited to send people to Nulu Fest that I forgot that we were having an event at Logan Street Market and people were just like, oh, what's something fun to do? And I'm like, oh, go to Woman Owned Wallet, go to Nulu Fest. And I was sending everyone down here and I was like, oh shit.
We have an
event here too.
Come here first.
Come here and then go there. So
September is packed full of so many events in Louisville.
It really is.
It is so hard to remember them all.
I know. And then Logan Street Market is having their birthday celebration on the 8th. So, but I'm also, that same night I'm doing another market somewhere else that I was invited to. And I'm just like, okay, I got to do both. So
once you start to get into that realm of doing multiple things at a time.
I know. And thank God I have
your new goals, girl.
I know.
That's how you're going to reach those new levels.
Yeah. And last year I didn't do that. If I would be invited to markets, well, I shouldn't even say invited to markets. People wanted me to go and then they asked me to pay a fee.
Yeah.
And which I was just like, well, I don't have anyone to watch my shop, so I can't go. And now I do have someone to watch my shop and I can go, but
you have to think about all new things now.
Yeah. And it's like, there's so many doors that have opened for me in the past year and really in the past, like 3 to 6 months, me having my product in your store, people come here and then they go to Logan Street and they recognize my stuff from coming here. And I can't tell you how many times people they come into my shop and they're just like, oh, you have your stuff inside of Woman Owned Wallet, I think, or you guys have similar products. I'm like, nope, it's the same thing.
I was like, we have our own colors.
Yeah.
She has more. Because I never carry everybody's full selection. So I'm like, please go check them out too.
And I do have a curated assortment specific to Woman Owned Wallet. I don't carry those colors in my store anymore. So, and then we need to talk about holiday. So
what can we do to help people have a good holiday? So if you're a maker listening, one of the ways we've talked about so far is like to make yourself, make your brand bigger than your space. Really. Yeah. Be a resource, be a provider. If they're already shopping small, it's like a lot of times people need to hear something 7 times in marketing, before they actually take an action. So to me, like we were kind of saying before, like there's not competition, it's just community. Because if they've heard from your shop to shop small, then they heard from, 6 other places on the map to shop small or whatever, then they're already going to come into my store knowing that shopping small is important and why it is. And if we all have a unified message of like how to do that, here's the easiest way, here, go to this store, here, do this, like it it brings us all together and provides that community that we're craving. And it turns out that there's just this massive community that want to shop small and want to shop women-owned.
Yeah.
And we give them that opportunity.
And I think especially like, post-COVID, post-pandemic, like everyone is so sick of shopping online and
they're so intentional now.
Yeah, everyone is there. The buyers,
even with like inflation too, they're so intentional with where their money goes.
with how they spend their dollars. And so as a small business owner, we want to, create quality pieces and have like a quality experience for them. But it's not always easy, it's not always, and there's no real template for being a small business owner and finding success in this world, because it's like my journey is different from your journey.
Right.
And you were talking about your numbers and I was like, oh God, I got to write some more. I need more extensive goals, because I mean.
And these were not goals that I had my first year.
Right. Like,
so you just keep up with, where you are.
You keep on keeping on, you know, like, and it's not, there's
I'm sharing those as not a bragging moment, but as a sharing moment that it's possible.
Yeah.
I'm just happy it happened for me because now I know it's possible.
It is.
I'm like, okay, now I got to make 10 grand in a day. Right? I want that 5-figure day, not just the 4-figure day. I've never had a 5-figure day.
Oh my God.
Like I got to get there. I bet you I'm going to get there.
Oh yeah, you'll get there.
Not betcha. I know.
I know.
I don't know when, but I know.
Well, it's definitely going to happen in the near future. You have such an amazing business, and like,
you're towing the line of your first 6-figure year. Like that's the most exciting to hit because everybody talks about 6 figures, 6 years or 6 months. And I'm like, bullshit.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist for a sustainable, not just a sustainable to the earth, but a sustainable business. And that lifestyle that we've discussed before is like, you can make a quick buck. But if you want to have that brand and have that presence that doesn't make 6 figures once, but makes it 4 years and years and years, and then makes millions, because I have millions on the brain. I'm like, okay, I can be a thousandaire, but how do I be a millionaire?
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's go.
I think that's like, like that's, and it's so interesting that you say like, oh yeah, I could be a millionaire, like that's possible because I'm towing that 6-figure line.
Yeah.
This has been like the first time in my life that I've ever thought like, oh my God,
it's possible.
It's possible. I could be a millionaire one day. One day. It's possible.
Yeah.
And this is, just a girl from Arizona growing up, a middle income family. I started a business when I was 36 years old, like I, just got married. I don't have any kids, but I have a lot of family obligations, and seeing your numbers and realizing it's possible, it's just so empowering and so exciting. And then surrounding myself with people like you and like Vanessa and all of these other small business owners who have really been the reason for my success, or part of the reason for my success is just, if I continue down this path, then I know that I can hit that very,
you can hit that thing that feels far away.
It
becomes a lot closer.
The thing that was seemingly so far away, my entire life is now visible. It's now possible.
Well, I love entrepreneurship is limitless. I love the limitless option that we have, the limitless lifestyle that we're creating. And it doesn't have to end at any point. But also, I think it's important that for years, I spent I was making hundreds of thousands and I spend hundreds of thousands and that's scary.
Oh, yeah.
And I've now borrowed hundreds of thousands. This brand is successful because I had 5 previous businesses that I learned from. I learned so much. And by having the new Black before the pandemic, I was able to get an EIDL loan that was massive and changed my mindset on what was possible because for the first time I had funding that wasn't, oh my God, like you have to pay this back in 6 months and it's more expensive to have this loan than it was for the money you borrowed. Like so much of why I'm doing this now is because I made so many money mistakes and I had so many predatory loans and it's so overwhelming when you can't make those payments and when every account is overdrafting. I've been there too.
I wish I listened to this podcast before I started my business.
I wish I had this before I started mine. Be like, it's okay, y'all.
Yeah, but because I have made so many money mistakes just in my life.
Yeah.
In my life, first of all, that hindered me from getting small business loans and getting credit cards and doing things that I wanted to do.
So bad.
Yeah, and it's just like it's like
it's better now.
yeah, but I mean, my credit score didn't start to go up until I started a business. Until I was just like, okay, this is going to be my primary source of income. And I don't know where that income is going to come from or if it's going to come in, So I started saving, and all of that money trauma that I had from my childhood just sort of like, went out the window, and I started to see this business world differently. And it was just like, oh my gosh, like you don't realize how life-changing it is.
It is. And I think that's why so often I'm interviewing entrepreneurs, like other entrepreneurs, is because I feel that you are putting yourself more at risk and you're more open to communicating about those money things because you know that your limitless options are there. And yes, they might feel very far away at first. And to me, before I got my massive loan of $250,000, which is more than my house, like it was terrifying to take, but it had a 30-year payback. And it had 30 months before I had to start paying it back. It also had a very low interest rate. And of course, the pandemic was a terrible thing that happened. Yeah. So much came from that. But the opportunity for me to utilize my previous experience in businesses, my previous experience owning brands, but not truly understanding the full branding experience, I invested that $250,000 into my future. And I have already made more than that with the business. We are up to like 375 in 2 years. So I know I can pay it back.
Oh my God.
Right?
That is amazing.
Well, we have it in the store so you can see it.
Like, oh my God.
Literally.
Really?
Yeah. So every time you purchase in the store, we now have a ka-ching button you get to push. And we have the updating counter that shows your money being put into the wallets of women.
I absolutely love your transparency with money.
Yeah.
Because like I am such a huge advocate for being transparent with your money and transparent with where your money is, or like, how much you're making as a small business owner, what you're doing to like make money, and the pricing of your products. And, it's like, I have these conversations on the daily with one of your employees, who also works at Logan Street. Yeah.
We love her.
Like I talk to her all the time.
I'm going to steal her all the way one day.
Oh yeah.
I'm obsessed with her.
Oh yeah. I think she'll come willingly. She loves you.
Yeah. I've already warned her. I'm like, so you're my next full-time employee. And she's like, I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Yeah. She absolutely loves you.
I mean, she can always have additional things. I want every girl to have that works for me, every woman that works for me to have multiple streams of revenue. And I help them create them to make sure that they know that this is important. And of course, I'm happy to provide your full-time thing, but but full-time is just whatever. Like you should have multiple streams of revenue as an individual and invest in your own ways and grow your own savings. And like, I don't want this to be, the only way you're bringing in income unless it's what works for you in this moment.
Yeah. And that's fine. I think with Paige, and not to stay on this forever, because I know we can hyperfixate on topics, but
they're here for it. If you're still here, you're here for it.
You're here for it. But I know that she just admires you so much, and whatever
I texted you when I was looking for somebody, and you and 3 other people told me about her. And then I met her the next day. She happened to walk into the store to shop.
And she came into the store without even knowing that I said anything or anyone else said anything.
Yeah. She had no idea.
Popped in and
then I was like, do you have time for an interview? Because I need to know you. And I literally offered her a job.
That is so badass. Like I love
If this many people tell me that you're amazing and that I trust those people the way I trust y'all, you're probably hired.
Yeah.
If I can afford you. It's hard when I have 7 right now.
Okay.
But we have to make a lot of money because I got a lot of wallets of women's wallets to put it in. Yeah.
I love that though.
But yeah, it wasn't so scary to take the 250. Well, it was really scary because I hadn't proven wow yet. And it went into the new black, and then I own both. And the new black has made so many hundreds of thousands, and it's amazing. And I love it, but it was not fully scalable in the way that wow is. And not even just scalable, but extensionable. So having the extensions of the podcast, of the map, of the additional like wholesale opportunities, potentially of having our own wholesale platform we get multiple emails a day of people applying to sell in the store. And it is hard to turn people down. I feel shitty. And if you've applied, girl, don't worry. I'm working on things for y'all too.
Oh my gosh.
So we had to open the WOW directory. We have the WOW world so we can all connect together.
Yeah.
There's so many extensions and ways to interact with us in a way that works for you. But financial literacy is like at the base of it because I fucked it up so long. And taking that 250 was scary at the time, but I had already understood that I could generate the hundreds of thousands of dollars. I didn't know that WOW could. I didn't know because I just had this checkered floor, gray walled like box to make cute. And I was like, I'm going to make this something. I just know. And everybody said, no, I don't think so. And I said, if I can still get through all of the people that tell me no, that I love, that are here to protect me, they're not against me, but I know still that it's the right thing. I have to do it. And I didn't start out with a $250,000 loan. I mean, before in 2019, I got my first reconsolidation loan for the New Black, where everything I had was on credit cards that were maxing out. I was paying $8,000 a month in debt.
Wow.
In debt. I was overdrafting. I had $10,000 in bank fees in a year. And I was like, this is just money that's being wasted. There's all my profit. So I went from having this $50,000 across all these random credit cards because I couldn't get a business loan. Even after years and years, it took me 6 months to get a $50,000 SBA loan in 2019.
You know, this story is literally going to bring me to tears because I get it.
Yeah.
I absolutely understand. Like
you have to manage your first 1,000 before you can manage your 10,000, before you can manage your 100,000. And if you can learn learn from your mistakes, and I call them still that because they are missteps that I took, but I know that every step I took, I learned from. Every step I take takes me up my staircase for the better view that I get from it. And if I learned the mistakes that I was learning at 100,000, if I had learned those while I only had 1,000, trust me, girl, I wouldn't be making this. Like, I would have so much more money. So try to learn from those missteps when you only have 1,000 and then learn from them when you have 10,000 and it's all just about being intentional.
Yeah.
I was like spending so much just to keep my head above water. And I should have just released a few employees that I felt, I should take care of and that I need them to make this run. And honestly, I felt that they made me feel that way too. And we were like very codependent in like a not healthy way for the business and for myself. And I learned from that. So now like I have very clear boundaries, and you can even talk to Paige about that. I'll be like, hey girl, this is great, but like, here's the boundary. Here's when to text me. Here's when to do this. And it keeps everything clear and above board for my own mental health. But if I had learned those things that I didn't understand when I was making hundreds of thousands, when I was only making below 10,000 or tens of thousands, I would have a lot more money in my bank account today.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I agree. And I feel like I know that I've made money mistakes just in my business and in my personal life while being in business. And I'm actively learning from those mistakes, and honestly
learning.
And I'm actively learning from you, from this podcast. But
please learn from all this mistakes I've made, y'all.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I'm just like,
and honestly, so much of it is just that mindset around it and how to truly like. I know that you can get a lot of information on other podcasts about the numbers, and I'm like, but I didn't focus enough on my mindset for a decade. For my first 10 years of being in business and owning businesses. And I mean, I'm still paying on some of my 2017 sales taxes. Guess what? The government will give you a good payment plan. Don't worry. If you're behind, call them. You just have to call. Avoid those fees.
Yeah,
it doesn't go up after that.
People.
You got to just bite the bullet and recognize that you are separate actually from your business, even though you're creatively driving it and your vision is part of it. you are responsible for all of these things, for being the CFO in your own life. And there's another episode about that as well. I was like, oh shit, I have to be CFO. I just wanted to make pretty dresses, but guess what? So stepping into the power that comes with that, like it's a lot of responsibility. Was that Spider-Man quote where it's like, it's a gift and a curse kind of thing with great power, responsibility. Oh yeah, you're saying
we're like,
what is it?
What's the quote? With great power comes great responsibility.
Bitch, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Sometimes my brain works faster than my mouth.
Usually with me, it's the other way. I just start talking and hope that the thoughts come.
Hope that it comes. It does always.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just so much there, and there's so much power in that. And then when you get employees and when you have space to rent, you know, you just have to be really, really intentional. And now that I'm less impulsive and I'm more intentional, I found so much peace within that. And knowing that I have proven to myself that I trust myself with money, not that I'm good or that I'm bad with it, bullshit. Like, if I trust myself in how I'm going to invest, not just spend my money, but I invest money.
Investing it.
I invest it in my community. I invest it in every decision I make, and you do as well. Like, you listening do as well, and Sarah does as well. Every decision you make of where you're putting your money is how you want your future to look. So if I say I'm going to put more money in the wallets of women, that's what I'm going to do. I want to see, if you look at this map on the back, it says 90% of the amount of income women reinvest into their families and communities. 90% of their income goes back directly to benefit all of us.
Versus 40% for men.
Versus 40% for men. And I will even say that quote or that statistic does make sense because men are raised to be the breadwinners. And my mom always said, like, your dad's the bread, but I'm the jam. And I love being the jam.
I love being the jam.
Right?
I'm the jam.
I'm the jam.
What's up? And actually,
because I thought I wanted to be the bread. And I was like, actually, the bread is boring because like they can't reinvest 90% of their income because they're probably paying for more traditional expenses, potentially. I mean, listen, some people are the bread and the jam. And I love you because you're the whole sandwich. Like, let's go. Breakfast
You're the
here.
sandwich.
You're here. But the fact that I am in a long-term relationship where my husband met me in 9th grade and knew I was this ridiculous and amazing. At the same time, all wrapped into one. I'm a tornado. I'm a little Tasmanian devil. Like, that's what it is.
Fiery tornado.
I'm a little fiery Aries. I can't help it. So I thought I always wanted to be the breadwinner. And it turns out I want to be the jam winner.
You just want to be the jam, babe.
Well, because then like my mom's money always went towards our experiences and, you know, the vacations and the Wendy's that we ate out on like Wednesday nights while we watched her. Like she worked at a dental office and we would go with her at night because she was a bookkeeper, but also took notes. Like she listened to his notes. I forget what that's called, but she typed for him when like cassette tapes and typing were like necessary to run a dental office.
Trying to think of the word.
Stenographer?
That
That feels wrong too.
I don't think that's it.
Sorry, mommy.
Sorry.
But I remember being like 5 years old and sleeping on the couch at the dentist's office. But I also remember her buying us Wendy's and little toys and stuff to make sure that we were still really enjoying that time. So I always saw the jam as such a benefit. And my parents truly don't believe that they raised me different than my brothers, which it's cool. I just want validation and it's fine because I love myself. But like it did happen where they did raise me to truly be the jam. And my brothers both have more traditional jobs. And I always felt like I could go out and be, you know, that little spice girl running around being like, girl power, let's do this.
Yes.
I was always raised to believe that, I mean, in a traditional household and all of those things, you know, that we are all breaking down all of the traditions now being in the 2020s and being millennials and then the Gen Z definitely breaking down the traditional households. But I was raised in that. And I was raised to understand that as the woman, I got to be the jam. And so now I spend all my money in all the places I want to spend it.
Well, and you can.
And I get to, and I bring it home to also add to my bread.
Yes.
But I was never raised to believe I had to be the bread. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's a different mindset. And I don't know a better way to explain that, to be honest, but it feels right for me now. And I'm happy to be the jam where I always felt like, no, I'm going to be the bread. And I'm like, no, the jam has power too, and way more fucking fun.
Way more fun.
So that 40% that men have to put into the bread, I'm like, sorry, the flour is so expensive. Like strawberries are cheap, apparently.
Our bad. Sorry.
Strawberries are where it's at.
Yeah. Strawberries are pink.
Jam.
Well, wait, no, they're red.
I mean,
they can be pink.
There's white ones too. I don't know. But yeah, so I just think it's a different mindset. And so much of what I value about being a woman is that my opportunity and my, upbringing had that I was allowed to be underestimated in a way.
Yeah.
That sounds bad, but it's truly benefited me and benefited I've made over $1 million in my 13 years.
In your years of being a serial entrepreneur.
Exactly. So it's like, I know that I get to just dream and be creative. And they've never made me believe, which traditionally like men's roles versus women roles, like gender roles can be really negative. But I personally just viewed that in a way that was like, no, I need to be masculine. And I'm like, actually, that's okay. It's okay because look at what I've created by being the jam.
Yeah.
And look what I'm going to be like a generous millionaire like Dolly Parton, not
giving back to all of your woman community supporters.
I want to put money in every
woman's wallet.
Yes. And give women as much opportunity and much openness. And I even feel like some people might think that was weird the way I explained it, but like it's okay for that to feel good too.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't always have to feel one way or the other. And right now I'm just really enjoying being the jam.
Yeah. Enjoy being the jam. You are the jam.
It's a fun way to think about it.
You're the
jam winner, bread winner. But I always like that my mom thought nobody discounts the jam. The jam makes the bread taste better.
It does.
So like together, because I am in a long-term relationship and in a very satisfying, happy, fulfilling, loving relationship where I have a true partner, we have created that perfect sandwich.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
And he values my jam just as much as I value his bread.
Oh, I love that so much.
Right?
I love that so much. And it's always like refreshing to hear that like someone has such a supportive partner.
Yeah.
And
that it's possible.
And that it's possible.
And it's okay.
And that, he's not intimidated or feels emasculated by your success.
It's so great. And people ask him like, oh, do you care that she doesn't use her last name? Because Amanda Dare is my middle name.
I feel like you and I are the same person.
We are. And you're married to an engineer as well.
Yeah. And I don't have his last name because like, kinder artist, like I'm basically a Kardashian. So like it's a brand now.
It's a brand. But see, I kept Amanda Dare because Dare was always my middle name. And my mom gave it to me as basically a stage name as well. So she said I could always use it.
Oh, I love that.
I'm named after Amanda Dare Rockefeller. So like we were related to them forever ago. Or maybe I'm named after because her name's Katie and Katie Dare was also a Rockefeller. I can't remember exactly. But she named me that. So I would always have my own full name. And that's already such like a feminist power move to begin with.
Absolutely.
But I do have the last name Darty, which is my husband's name. So I always still feel like I have my own identity. And when people ask him if he minds, which fucking rude.
Yeah, right?
Like, why would he mind?
Like why is it that we're always the ones to have to give something up? Like, it like doesn't make sense.
I saw this TikTok that was disgusting. That was like, marry her while she's in med school so she becomes a doctor with your last name. Like a guy was saying that. And I was just like,
that is disgusting.
What the fuck? It was so gross. And I was just like, you know what? And my husband, not only does he not care, he so fully supports that I've done this. Like, this is mine. And he knows it and he loves that for me. And we're both very independent people. Like, we've had more struggles coming together than we had being apart. So now we're like in this beautiful, amazing like position in our life where we're like working on creating a family together. We already are a family, but adding to our family.
Adding to the family.
And we're like communicating with our future baby, like this, we're ready for you when you're ready for us. So we're in this beautiful space of like, if we had been pushed into that earlier, we might not have all the conversations that we're having now. And we might not both be focused on our mental health, but we both are. And of course, he's going to be cool with me using my actual name that I've been giving my whole life. It's not, it technically is some man's name from whatever.
But
technically it's mine. I mean, she spelled it different, so it helps me be my own person.
It's your identity. It's who you are.
I've always been Miss Amanda Dare.
Yeah, own it,
Grew
babe.
up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we are the same person. And honestly, I love you so much, and this is probably the longest podcast that we'll have because we are the same person.
We
which
really
is
are.
Just long-winded in the best way.
In the best way.
I love it.
Yeah, we can go on for hours, I'm sure. Like,
so we'll just have you back.
Yeah, this has to be like
It'll
a
be
2,
fine.
3, 4-parter. Like, you know, why not?
But let's just wrap it up here because this has just been such a beautiful conversation. And I think the tangents that we said we were worried about, literally, you guys love it. Just
I mean, we create gold, so I don't know what to tell you.
Solid gold, corn.
Oh my God.
All the things.
Don't do it.
It reminds me of like, sheesh. Have you seen her silhouette?
Sheesh.
So, Sarah, can you please just let our money makers that are listening know how they can put money into your wallet? How can they work with you, hire you, shop with you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can find all of my information at thekinderartist.com. I think the best way to get a hold of me is probably through Instagram. I am...
Love a DM.
Always. Oh, yeah. Slide into my DMs all day.
Into my DMs,
Slide into my DMs. So it's at the.kinder.artist.
Yes. We'll put it in the show notes as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And those are the best ways to get a hold of me. And I do wholesale orders. I do wholesale buying. I do consignment. I am always down to see what beautiful things are out there that I can carry in my shop by these amazing woman-owned businesses.
And I just think, with both of us coming from an artist eye, that's what we've been able to create. So like such beautiful spaces and experiences. So please come visit Woman Owned Wallet to buy the Kinder Artist products this holiday season, but especially visit her directly and purchase her new houseplant, her expansion, and just tell her how amazing she is and validate all of those small business, feelings and doubts that we can go through sometimes because like Sarah said earlier, it feels so good to have our vision validated. Please help us with that.
Yes, please. Please.
Well, thank you so very much, Sarah. I really appreciate you, and I'm so happy that you're in my life.
Oh, likewise. It's such a pleasure. I love knowing you and being your friend.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Amanda.
Well, moneymakers, thank you for listening. And moneymakers, go out there and make that money.
If you want to put more money into the wallets of women like we do, then check out our website, thewomanownedwallet.com. And we can't wait to continue the conversation on our social media. So definitely follow us on our Instagram, @womanowned.wallet, and on TikTok, @womanownedwallet. You can support us by following our podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify. And don't forget to leave us a review. Thank you for listening to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast.